Okay, welcome everyone to the Mir office hours for September 25. I think we should be starting with the actions from the previous meeting. Okay, so that's what's going on there, which was to fix the Fedora build, which I believe happened successfully.
Yeah, so together with Neil, we fixed it up and kind of extended it as well. So apart from it actually building RPMs now, because we also run our documentation sprint over the past few weeks, we actually added validation of a minimal Mir compositor. So like the thing that's in documentation, we have validation in CI that it does run now.
Yes, and now the test suite runs in the Fedora package builds too, which means I know when it is probably not going to work or not. Like with S390X, where it is probably not going to work, but hey, it's still there.
Yeah.
Well, we actually do build on S390X, but I expect that you might need some like disable LTO or something. Like we have some hacks around architecture, so I will look for that then. So an action for me: look for S390X quirks, so that we can copy that into the Fedora pipeline, so that we maybe can build on S390X.
Well, so the only thing I actually had to do for the Fedora package, and this is already in place for you in the upstream spec, is not run the tests, because the tests fail. LTO works, everything else works, it's just a test fail.
Okay, well, have a look. Oh, actually, I lied. We did disable S390X, so that's probably why.
Yes.
Okay.
So Mir probably works, but I don't know because the tests don't.
Does anybody have S390X with graphics and with a GPU and output? That's probably a question.
Anyway. I mean, you can always ask IBM. Apparently, they have those now. They added them to their cloud.
Yeah, still don't think that that's a likely consumer case for Mir. But
I mean, you know, man, I don't know. The SUSE people are the ones that make GNOME work on S390X. So, you know, it happens. People apparently want the desktop on mainframes. I can't tell you why, but it's a thing.
Okay, well, I'm sure if they come knocking, we can persuade them to help us out. But failing that, I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it.
I don't blame you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, the Mir 2.22.1 release.
Okay, I think I can take that. So basically, yeah, we found a few issues just after releasing 2.22, of course. So there are some fixes, and I'm not going to kind of list them all, but generally 2.22.1 is what you should be looking at. And we actually also have a fix for like, it's hardware specific, but there will be a 2.22.2 with a tweak for a issue that we found on like AMD plus Intel hybrids, which had some kind of special hardware setup that we didn't consider. So that's now that should now be working as well in 2.22.2. I hope that we might actually release it tomorrow. It's a tiny backport, but notable in 2.22.1. We had a crash because cursor scale was changed. We had some weird recorder inversion on the captured frames, and and now we actually, in the case when NVIDIA doesn't advertise the WL bind Wayland display extension, which I still I'm not sure why it does sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. It might be hardware specific even. But when it doesn't, we fall back to or fall over to atomic KMS, which is our future anyway. So at least it makes it work, though it's unclear still why does the extension go away.
Okay. Guess the next item is the input triggers plan. I guess I can follow that link. So we have some ideas about how shortcuts and the like should be working with Wayland compositors. I've shared this with a few select people from the community, including Neil. We're looking to specify some protocols and implement them along these lines over the coming weeks, and hope that this will meet with some favour and uptake from maybe one or more of the desktops.
Alan, can you give a brief overview maybe of what we are thinking?
Okay, so we're basically looking at two protocols. One which is privileged, which allows an application to gain a lease on an input trigger event. So an input trigger event could be something like a 3-finger drag or an Alt tab or some key combination. And with that, enable potentially unprivileged clients to listen for activation on that trigger and be told that it's happening and what's going on and events between while that activation's in place and when it closes. We do have a picture here describing it, and discussion about why we've gone for this approach.
So I think one thing that we might want to raise as well is how does this relate to the Global Shortcuts portal and how this could be done?
Yeah, certainly we'd want to be able to implement the Global Shortcuts portal on top of this. And there's some discussion in there about how that might be done.
Right, but I think one kind of overarching goal here is to not necessarily have a Global Shortcuts implementation. In this case, one of the things that you mentioned, Alan, was Alt Tab Switcher, which one of the things that we are thinking of is to basically allow to have a single kind of source of truth, single view on all of the shortcuts that are enabled on the system, and ultimately have the user be kind of the owner of the whole story. So if they want to change the Alt Tab shortcut, then there's a place to do this. And depending on the shell implementation, that can be modified there, right?
Yeah.
So I think the plan on this one is to get as much as possible feedback from the community. We reached out, as I mentioned, reach out to a few. But if anybody that listens this wants to have a look through this doc, it's public, and we will take all feedback before we actually start implementing it in a week or two.
Okay. So 2604 roadmap, I guess that's another one for Mikhail to talk about.
Right. So at this point, we're collecting kind of stakeholder feedback. Tell us what is next for you to be able to use Mir better. And we will come back with what we thought, like what we were able to do kind of after we've done the planning. But we need your input into this so that we make the right choices on what we're able to do. So I'm not asking, like, yes, if you have ideas now, then well, let us know. But also, if it comes to you later, just grab us on any means of communication, whether it's the forum or Matrix or something. Let us know what are the things that you would like us to focus next for the community desktops.
I've already looked over this, and it seems largely sensible. My intent is I'm going to bring this up with some folks in my some of the desktop developers I've been working with in our stand-up that's coming up in a couple of days, and get them to give more feedback on this. I suspect they haven't had a chance to see it yet because this is the work week for them, and it's not their jobs to look at this stuff. So hopefully they will see it this weekend once we have a chance to discuss it. But as far as the from my perspective, I think it looks pretty sensible. I would like to see what it looks like in the protocol form and understand what the pros basically turns into, because this is a very high level discussion, and the XML takes it another step more concrete, and then of course we can go further down as we start thinking about this more. But yeah, I mean, I think we're in the right direction though. So at least from my perspective, it looks good.
So I noted this as an action for you, Neil, to dissipate this more among the community. But yep. And anything else for 2604? Anything that that we spoke about that didn't make the cut for this cycle, or anything that has come up since?
Well, let's see. The protocol stuff, we got X workspace for 2510.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great to get the X image capture stuff.
That's
for
in progress.
2604.
Yeah, image capture is in progress for screens. So I suppose image capture for top levels might be another thing to look at.
Right. Let's see, is there, and then X data control for the clipboard stuff, because we currently don't have clipboard managers working.
That's being worked on right now.
Okay, goody. Other than that, I don't think I have any priority things from protocol perspective for 2604. So having those will essentially complete the checkboxes that I'm currently aware of.
That's good to hear.
Great. But yeah, so Neil, do you have kind of a place to speak to Budgie to execute
Yes.
for those guys that might be using us? Either please just ask them, or actually invite us to it, so that you don't need to act as a conduit necessarily if they want us there.
So I can ask if you guys are open to, I think it's my Saturday morning, might be your Saturday afternoon. They hold their stand-up around that time.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are interested, I can go talk to them and ask them if they can come in, if you can come in as a guest for this week's stand-up, and we can discuss this. If you're interested. If you're not, then and we'll go with the telephone game.
No, we are. We would certainly like to be there.
Yeah, I'll talk to Josh and see if we can if he can invite you for this weekend's for this Saturday.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, so let's move on to any other business. Has anyone got anything else they'd like to discuss?
Well, one more thing. So I've been thinking, since I got told that Cloud Init does everything by hand, I've been trying to think about how to do the automatic build and release of Mir into Fedora Copper, and I think I have a strategy for this, and it will involve using a tool from the Fedora community called Packet. One thing I think you're going to have to go look into is whether it is okay for the canonical GitHub organization to have the Packet app enabled. So I'm bringing this up now because this is an action item for you guys. You're going to have to figure this part out.
Yeah.
Because if this is this will make the automation I'm thinking of doing very easy. And if we can't do this, then I'll need to think of another way. So this is I need you to find out whether we can turn this on or not.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I took a note of that to carry that to our IS.
Here's a link to the GitHub instructions for turning on the integration.
Okay. Anyone else got anything that they'd like to raise? Or Neil, got anything more you'd like to raise?
I think that's it. I mean, we just pushed 222.1 into Fedora 43 Plus. I also pushed a numerical release into Fedora. Hopefully everything's now not broken anymore. The ISO should have been spun today, so Matthew and I need to check to make sure everything's not broken. And if everything is not broken, then we should be good to go. If it is still broken, then it's Matthew's fault and we need to fix it.
Okay. I guess on that note, I will say the meeting is closed. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks all.